Hi, my name is Scott Junker, and we're here to replace the bearings in an Easton M1 hub and install the new bearing spacer between the bearings, which is going to radically increase the bearing life of the hubs. First off, we need to determine whether your rear wheel is compatible with this new bearing spacer. Each hub has a number, like this one. This one says M1221. Any hub ending in a 1 is compatible with the new bearing spacer. Now that we know that your hub is compatible with this bearing spacer kit, here's what you'll need. This is the bearing spacer replacement kit. It comes with the bearing spacer, 2 new bearings, and you can see that these are brown on both sides, a half-moon woodruff key, and the 2 bearing installation tools. This new bearing spacer is compatible with XC wheels, Haven wheels, and Havoc wheels. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to be using this XC hub. First, we need to disassemble the hub and remove the existing bearings. I'm going to start by pulling on the cassette body. It's going to come right off. Next, we insert a 12mm Allen into the right side of the axle. Use a 20mm cone wrench on this left-hand threaded adjuster on the left side. So it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. We're going to go backwards on this one. Alright. Loosening that preload adjuster is going to pop the left side end cap off. And then we can just pop the axle out like that. This is the old adjuster. We're going to set this aside because we're going to replace that in a minute here. The axle comes out. It's a nice slip fit there. Now we need to remove the existing bearings. We're going to use a woodruff or half-moon key and a regular shop punch. First, we're going to remove the right side bearing by putting the half-moon key up from the bottom. This is the installation of the woodruff key here. Just take it up from the bottom and get it to balance on both races there. Stick just a regular old shop punch in there and drive the bearing out. For the left side bearing, we're just going to use the regular axle, but we're going to put it in backwards and use that to drive the bearing out. That also pops out the seal on the left side of the hub. So now we have a nice clean hub shell, and we need to install the new bearings. First step is I'm going to install the large bearing onto the large tool. This is just a regular front quick release. We're going to install that into the hub shell. On the left side, we're just going to use the small tool all by itself. Put the quick release nut back on. And in this case, the quick release is acting as the bearing press. So we're just going to tighten the quick release, and you'll be able to feel it bottom out. Because these tools support the bearings on both the inside and outside race, it's really hard to over tighten them. Remove the left side, the small tool. Install the small bearing on the small tool. And this time we're going to also add the bearing sleeve. And put that assembly back into the hub shell. And tighten the quick release again. And again, you'll be able to feel it bottom out. Just to make sure it's good and tight. It's all the way in. Before we get into the reassembly, we're going to add a small bead of grease on the left side bearing. A little extra insurance in case of water intrusion. We're going to take that seal that we pulled out of there before and get it in gently by hand and push it the rest of the way with the small tool. Alright, so now we're going to reassemble this thing. Same axle, we're going to slide the axle right back in. This is the new bearing fixing nut. So this one a little bit beefed up. It is still a left-hand thread, so we're going to thread it backwards. Put it on by hand. It starts to get tight. We're going to use a 12mm Allen on the right side. and a 20 millimeter cone wrench on the left side. This thing has a torque spec of 10 Newton meters, so we're going to get this thing pretty good and snug. It's about the same torque as on a old style cup and cone hub, same type of torque you'd put on the cups and cones. The left side end cap just pops back on. Slide the cassette body on, make sure we have that spacer centered up in there. And spinning it backwards to make sure we don't damage the cassette body seal. The right side end cap also just pops back on. And we're finished. This bearing spacer and installation kit is available direct from your local bike shop, online at eastoncycling.com, or directly from Easton Bell Sports. Adding this bearing spacer to your hub is going to radically increase the life of your bearings.